So another thing that I forgot to mention in that video about introversion is the fact that uh, dating is kind of obscure when you are an introvert. Dating is something that doesn't hold too much weight. At least for me, I can only use myself as an example. I know there might be some introverts out there who still enjoy dating and who still enjoy the chase for intimacy. But for me personally, I don't. Um, the last date that I went on happened just about 5 or more years ago. I think 5 or 6 years ago. And it was one of the very few dates that I've had with the same woman. And the entire time we were, dating and speaking, it didn't feel like a normal course of action for me. It didn't flow naturally from me because most of the time I was asking myself, what am I really doing here? What am I accomplishing with this? And why am I wasting this woman's time? And ultimately we did cease communication. I chose to break it up before any serious emotions formed. And the thing about that is I have this thing, and this might sound terrible, but I don't like building strong, emotional, intimate attachments with people. I just don't like doing it. It feels uncomfortable for me. And with this particular woman, I began to notice that in our conversations, she would express deep feelings for me that I did not have for her. And every time she would talk to me and she would say these things to me, I would be uncomfortable, but more so, I would feel completely bad for her because I knew within myself that I didn't have those same feelings toward her. And it wasn't that she wasn't attractive, she was beautiful. And it wasn't that, I didn't like her as a person. She's very nice. Um, it was just the fact that I did not have those very deep, intimate connection with her. I didn't have that very deep, intimate attachment that she had or almost had towards me. And I felt wrong for stringing her along like that. And I didn't want to string her along. I didn't want to waste this woman's time. And I chose to find a way to break that up. Unfortunately, I did it in one of the most. I did it in a way that could have been handled better. I'll say that. It wasn't anything super malicious on my part. It was just I went back on a promise that I made, and I felt that perhaps that would be enough to end the relationship without having to necessarily explain why. And it worked, but I wasn't proud of myself for that. And I vowed since that day that I would never get into a relationship. I would never date unless I had clear, precise intentions on why I'm dating and where I intend to go with the dating. Because for me, along with my introversion, I just don't feel the need to pursue someone in that type of way. Even as a child growing up, um, I didn't obsess about having a girlfriend. And even back then, when I was trying to hide my bisexuality, because growing up in the early 2000s, it wasn't as commonplace as it is now to see people come out and express their true sexual attractions. So even when I was in middle school, trying to put up a front that, I was just this heterosexual guy like all the other guys in the class, there were some times that I would try to flirt with the women. And mostly it would be to try to persuade myself that I am a heterosexual man because I still had uh, some latent self denial happening in me, and I just didn't want to admit that I was a bisexual man. And also at that time I was deeply religious, so that whole situation felt wrong anyway. And so me flirting with the girls in class was a way for me to affirm um, this godly, manly obligation to flirt with women, right? It's so stupid. But, fast forward, um, even in my 20s, it just wasn't a thing. You know, whether I saw a handsome guy or whether I saw a beautiful woman, it didn't matter. There were very few times in my life where I actually wanted to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and that came and went. It's never a serious longing for that. It's always a okay, hi, bye moment. you know, it never sticks. And I've had relatives ask me about this, and someone asked me if I was gay because I never brought back a woman. I never, had a girlfriend. So the question was asked, "Am I gay?" Looking back at that, I probably should have said mostly, mostly. But no, that's actually not the reason at all. The reason really is that I just don't um, have the desire to throw myself out there. I don't have the desire to mingle. I don't have the desire to uh, be dependent on meeting someone like that. I just don't have it. Really, when it comes to my life and the way I want to live it, or the way that I naturally live it, because I think a lot of this comes from a natural inclination that I don't really have much power over. Um, Again, as I said, growing up, there was never really that inclination to pursue these things. I only did it because I wanted to feel, um, appreciated with the crowd. And that was me being young and stupid. But now it's like, yeah, that just doesn't come up. I'm perfectly fine with the idea of living my entire life single because to me, this world doesn't hold that much weight. It just doesn't. Um, I see myself as a kind of spiritual person, and I don't often talk about this. I don't even go into detail as to the things that I actually believe, really. But I have my own spirituality, and I don't think I'll go into it right now. But the thing about it is, this world doesn't hold much weight with me. It doesn't appeal to me. And not only in the sense of living, but in the sense of dating and sex and all these things. I'm fine without sex, you know? The thing about dating that people automatically assume is that when you date, when you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you're automatically just having sex. Um, and that's probably what most people get involved with the dating game for. A lot of these guys you talk to, they'll say they're looking for a one night stand, and it could be the same with some women. They might just be dating just to get sex from a guy that they think is super attractive, you know. But I just don't care about any of that. I just don't. It doesn't appeal to me. It's not something that I feel I need to do. I need to get out here and have sex. I need to have a boyfriend. I need to have a girlfriend. I need uh, to get out and mingle. That has never been a priority for me. My priority with this life mainly has been to live it and get out. That's it. I am not concerned with the social aspects of it. I'm not concerned with making uh, making new friends or making spouses or anything like that. I just want to do the life thing because I have no choice, and then leave. you know, my interest in this world is so minimal, and people don't understand that. You see, that's another thing about being an introvert. We don't tend to have a super grandiose interest in this world. We just don't. It's lacking. A lot of us feel like this place is just lackluster. It doesn't hold any real awe over us. And personally, I think that's a very good thing. Um, I'm happy that I don't see this world as being a place where I need to live to the fullest, or I need to experience everything, or I need to get out and do X, Y, and Z because I just don't have interest in it. To me, this place is nothing more than a cage. It's a cage that I desperately want to get out of. So why should I waste my time pursuing dating or pursuing, sex interest when it's all unnecessary? It holds no purpose for me. It just doesn't. And somebody might ask, well, don't you have sex? No, I don't. Uh, Ultimately, I'm very self-sufficient in that regard. I don't even feel the need for sex because I satisfy myself well enough to the point where I just don't feel like I need it. I'm perfectly fine handling that business by myself, and I'm okay with that. There hasn't been a time where I thought that I just absolutely need this because I don't. I don't, and it helps to also know. It also helps to have this knowledge about why sex is even a thing in the first place, why humans are even drawn to it. So when you understand that it's pretty much just a biological trap, it makes it a lot easier to not want it. Okay, and not to mention all the problems that come with it, all the drama that comes with both sex and relationships and dating. So overall, I think that introverts and introversion is a blessing in disguise. Yeah, there are frustrations that we have to deal with, but I think that ultimately this path is one that at least offers a little more peace in a world where there is not very much peace at all. So, yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. Some people might ask, do I date or am I interested in dating? And the answer to both is necessarily no. There might be some time where I change my mind in the future because I'm not completely static. I am mostly static, but not entirely. So I don't know the future. I might find a man or a woman who I actually do click with and actually want to take things to the next level with. Um, However, I do think that that is mostly unlikely. So, yeah, that's how I'll conclude this.